he's a monster. Don't let him out. I have scars still all over my body from what he's done to me. There's other people that went missing in Peñon, and that makes me wonder, like, did he have a hand in anything else? Knowing that there was blood in that house, why not act on it at that time? Why didn't they arrest him then?
The Forgotten, a True Crime Arizona podcast.
Marilyn and her family couldn't believe they found Jamie's wallet, only from acting on a hunch in a dream. It was the first time they had any movement in the case since she went missing in 2019. Even though they had the wallet, there were still no signs of Jamie.
They gave it to the FBI, and I guess his question was, how does she know where to find it?
That was an odd response from authorities. How did she know where to find it? Did officials know the wallet was there? 3 months later, tribal police gave Jamie's mom, Ethelene Denny, a call.
Oh, we found her. And I said, good, where was she? Where was she and where is she now? And they said, I'm sorry to tell you that we just found her remains. And I was alone. I was alone in the house. That really hit me hard then, because in the past, I really had that hope that she was somewhere. Her remains were found November 23rd of 2021. It was positively identified as Jamie through dental records.
It was the heartbreaking end they prayed would never happen.
And that's when I found out. That's when I got both calls from my daughters.
Up until that point, you thought she might still be alive?
Yeah.
The Yazzie family was just starting to process all of this. But right away, Marilyn noticed something peculiar about the day Jamie's body was found, November 23rd.
My first question was, where did they find her? And she said, a little past the Hopi line on the Hopi reservation.
That was just 6 days before their family found Jamie's wallet in the exact same area. Authorities didn't tell them about finding Jamie until February of 2022, even though Marilyn and her family were part of a prayer walk on the Navajo Nation in January, where they had a sit-down with the former Navajo Nation president and former police chief.
We're here to get answers, and I just want to know. You don't have to tell me in details. You don't have to tell me if it's her or not, or what you think. I just want to know, was there remains found? And at that time, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. No. And this is in January of 2022.
Based on the timeline, the Yazzie family feels they were lied to.
It made me so mad. I was like, I knew it, I knew it. I didn't say in those words, I kind of cursed. I was like, I knew it. That's what I said. So it was like two emotions at once. We just wanted simple answers as far as the questions we had. We didn't want it in details. We knew it was still open. We just wanted to know if she was okay.
Then the dates of everything set in. Had Marilyn acted on her dream just days before she drove out there, she may have made the tragic discovery.
So we showed up there on the 29th, and they found her on the 23rd. I'm thinking, if we left sooner, would we have found her?
Marilyn always had a weird feeling about Trey James.
She was really trying to get me to warm up to him. But I told her at that last conversation is, I don't know why, but I just don't like him, I don't trust him, and I've never met him.
But Jamie's sister Elena had met him. she knew a little more. Elena said Jamie was very much the breadwinner in that relationship.
Like, oh, he fixed my car, oh, he brought me lunch, but then again, in the back of my head, I kind of knew the truth of like, well, he brought you food with your own money in your own car.
In the back of their minds, they believed Trey James knew more about what happened than he was letting on. But for nearly a year and a half, what happened to Jamie Yazzie remained a mystery. After her remains were found, things started moving in the case. Eventually, several pages of court documents would be released, 15 pages, each one telling the story of what happened to Jamie Yazzie in the summer of 2019. And it's more unsettling than her family was prepared for.
Trey James and the victim had been arguing about infidelity on the night of June 30th, 2019 and early July 1st, 2019. On or before 1:13 a.m. on July 1st, 2019, the victim's phone was either turned off or no longer working, and efforts of family and friends to contact her were left unanswered. The victim was killed by a gunshot wound to the back of her head.
In this next paragraph from the documents, EWJ is Trey James's dad.
On July 9, 2019, investigators interviewed EWJ, Trey James' father. EWJ said that he had last seen the victim around Friday, June 28. She had come to the two-story house to get away from Trey James, but went back with him. EWJ said that when Trey James drinks, he gets violent. Trey James also always has a gun, a silver pistol, which he keeps inside of his waistband. EWJ said that Trey James had been staying at the two-story house since the beginning of the month, July, and was acting strange. He was paranoid and said to tell people he was not home. EWJ said that he did not know what happened to the victim, but thinks Trey James was involved. EWJ said, yes, Trey did it, but did not provide a basis for this statement. On July 12, 2019, investigators searched the blue house and found floor tile with a red-colored substance that appeared to be blood in the bedroom believed to be used by the victim and Trey James, drywall and baseboard with a red-color substance that appeared to be blood, a queen-size mattress stripped of bedding with stains and what appeared to be partial burning in the bedroom, pieces of wall with what appeared to be blood in the hallway, a red-colored substance that appeared to be blood on the front porch, a small pistol in the living room, ammunition, and ammunition-related items throughout the home.
All of that infuriated Marilyn.
Knowing that there was blood in that house, why not act on it at that time? Why didn't they arrest him then?
It was something I wanted to bring up to the U.S. Attorney, Gary Restaino. The U.S. Attorney's Office is now prosecuting Jamie Yazzie's case and works closely with the FBI.
For the most part, the FBI is the best game in town when it comes to Indian country investigations, and they're the ones that bring us most of our cases.
And when they searched that house, though, there was blood evidence in there that could have been tested. I mean, did you have to have Jamie Yazzie's remains to charge Trey James?
We're not going to charge a case unless we have what we call a readily provable case. I trust our team. That's what I have to do as United States Attorney. And our team didn't feel comfortable charging the case to a standard by which we would prevail at trial.
So what was lacking in Jamie's case with that evidence that was in the house that made it so you guys didn't charge until her remains were found?
Right, and this is where, A, I really can't talk about an ongoing case. We have to let the truth play out and go to trial. But B, I'm pretty comfortable saying we're federal prosecutors, we're going to be careful in how we charge, and we're not going to charge the case until we feel we have reasonable evidence in order to meet every element of the case. It's frustrating, I imagine, for people. I have heard from victims that it is frustrating, but sometimes it takes a while to investigate. We need the forensic evidence, and sometimes it can take a year or two to get the results of forensic evidence back. These cases are difficult not just because of the forensics, but because we sometimes have to find the human remains before they can even be tested.
That evidence inside Trey James's home was sent to Quantico for the FBI to test in 2019, right after Jamie went missing. The results didn't come back for more than 2 years, just a couple months before Jamie's body was found.
On September 7, 2021, the FBI lab issued a report finding that A, there is blood on the floor tile and strong evidence that it is the victim's blood, and B, there is blood on the drywall and baseboard and strong evidence that it is the victim's blood.
It wasn't until August of 2022 that Trey James was arrested for first-degree murder in the death of Jamie Yazzie, 3 years after she disappeared. Reading through the indictment revealed something that immediately stood out. It was alarming. In the time it took to get evidence testing back from Quantico, Trey James assaulted and attempted to suffocate and strangle at least 3 other women after Jamie was killed.
He's been victimizing other women, and one of the women, he basically left scars on her body. I know this is because the first court hearing, the status hearing that we had, she was on the phone. You couldn't even really hear what she was saying, but the main things you could hear was, he's a monster, don't let him out. I have scars still all over my body from what he's done to me. Because there's other people that went missing in Pinon, and that makes me wonder, did he have a hand in anything else like that?
In a case like this, was there no way to expedite the evidence testing? Akil Davis, special agent in charge of the Phoenix division of the FBI, explained what happens behind the scenes.
Why would it take that long for evidence to come back from Quantico?
Yeah, because that's how busy Quantico is. I mean, they handle all of the evidence for the FBI. So if you think of all those violations in which the FBI is responsible for, and I can't stress that there's not another federal law enforcement agency in the world that is set up like the FBI, with all of the responsibility we have.
Is there a backlog at Quantico with evidence?
I would assume so. Investigating national security matters and domestic criminal matters, and the reach that we have covering 63 legal attaché offices all over the world. Think about all those different entities processing evidence at once. And all of that stuff goes to Quantico. So that would explain a significant delay. So for the Phoenix division, Indian country is one of our highest threats here. That's how we've prioritized that here.
But the problem is, if you send it to Quantico, that might not be the same
Correct.
priority level.
Correct.
The U.S. attorney knows this has caused tension, emotions running high.
It's frustrating, I imagine, for people. I have heard from victims that it is frustrating, but sometimes it takes a while to investigate.
It's been particularly strained at times with the Yazzie family.
I'm so proud of our advocates on the Trey James case. They've met with the family members there at least 4 times during the course of the investigation. I'm not going to get into the detail of those conversations. I don't think all of them went well, but I'm so proud of my team for keeping on going back and talking with them. And I do think that those conversations and the nature of them have been getting better. Certainly a credit to the tremendous courage of the family, but I think also to our lawyers and FBI agent partners.
When you say some of them haven't gone well, what do you mean by that?
I just mean that there's a natural tension sometimes in trying to give status information before a missing person's case is charged. Right? It's easier once we've got a charge.
Do you think that there's been a lack of transparency by your office and legal prosecutors in general about saying, hey, up front, we can only say this much? It seems like these families have kind of felt like they're in the dark.
I think we can do better. Look, transparency is a hallmark of the rule of law.
In August 2022, Trey James was charged with murder. It's what the Yazzie family fought for. But there's no guarantee to anyone what happens from here. And that's unsettling for Marilyn.
As far as right now, they're telling us that, it's crime of passion. He's not going to get more than 25 years. So that's what they're telling us.
They're telling you 25 years is going to be
a maximum outcome?
Yeah.
The way this case is charged, he could get a life sentence. We would have to see what happens on the case and the way it gets eventually adjudicated.
Where would they be hearing that 25 years from?
25 years is what would be a likely scenario under the indictment.
Why would 25 be an expected outcome?
It would be simply discussions of the possible things that happen in trial. Trials are complicated. Trials take a long time. Trials have unexpected events, and there are all sorts of things that lead prosecutors, again, without commenting on any discussion that was had, that lead prosecutors to give honest ranges and opinions to family members.
Like, I'm really hoping that, that they put him away to where he won't have to do this to anybody else.
You hear about missing women all the time, and a lot of them get a lot of publicity on the news and social media, and there's an urgency to test DNA and evidence and find an answer. Where do you think Jamie's case falls into that priority list?
The lowest, if not nowhere. It's not there. We don't even make that list. That's how I felt. Even up to this day, it's hard to talk about my niece and not cry about it.
Navigating the throes of the legal system is stressful enough. It's made so much worse when you're the one having to pick up the pieces of a family who's been irrevocably broken. Jamie's mother, Etheline, is now the primary caretaker of Jamie's 3 sons.
He took a mom from 3 handsome boys. My oldest grandson, Ethan, he's full of anger.
He's really struggled with this.
Yeah, he's really struggling with it, and he says that he did talk to Trey a lot of times for him not to hurt his mom.
Jamie's son told Trey to not hurt his mom.
Yeah, he just didn't want his mom to get hurt. The second oldest, Nathan, he's turned 13. He's more of the emotional one.
The youngest, Landon, just trying to even understand that his mom is gone. It's something no child should ever have to deal with, and something many will never understand. Except one person who knows exactly what those 3 boys are going through.
But I don't think I knew how much it affected me until I got older and started going to therapy and learning about your trauma response to certain things.
Tiffany Sorrell was just a teenager when her mom disappeared. It's affected her life ever since.
At least she got to mold me before all of this, because I think that's what really kept me strong, was her values, her teachings, because that's essentially just what I lived by.
As she's gotten older, she's learned more about her mom's case, going over the facts, the details, and game-changing specifics she just couldn't quite understand when she was younger.
Actually, the man that she was having an affair with, he has been ruled out. He's taken a lie detector, and he's participated in the investigation, and he's been ruled out. So what other direction could it go?
Tiffany feels pieces to her mom's puzzle have never fit just right, that there's more to this case than meets the eye. Her mom taught her to stand up for what she believes in, and that stands true, even if it's the direction she never hoped it would go.
If something doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. And so in this narrative that he's sharing about dropping her off, it just didn't make any sense. I feel like karma happens.
coming up on episode 5 of The Forgotten.
One thing that would help is if we could get broadband to the entire Navajo Nation. It's hard to report crimes when you can't call it in.
I mean, is this something you could take to President Biden and say, we need more help in Arizona to fight this?
Yeah, it's absolutely something I'd be willing to have that conversation with him about.
Our older generation, like Native Americans, we were always told just sweep it under the rug, basically. But I think the younger generation is like, no, we're not going to do that.
True Crime Arizona, the podcast, is hosted by me, Brianna Whitney, and produced by Sergio Hernandez. It's a production of Arizona's Family, 3TV, CBS 5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.
This is True Crime Arizona, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.